room for compromise on freedom of speech, a new law is the best way to ensure no one offends his religion.
From a non-Muslim perspective, we say free speech, you can basically say whatever you like. What's wrong with that?
The problem with that is that where the kind of boundaries or the limitations to that. That is the problem.
What are the boundaries and limitations for you?
For me, it would be kind of those things which maybe some people might hold as sacred.
But do you think we should have laws to state that?
It would be preferable, because otherwise, if there weren't these kind of legislations in place, then people are obviously going to get very irate. There are common grounds with regards to respecting each other. As I mentioned before, I wouldn't kind of disrespect any of your relatives or your family members or your mother.
So how do you stop people coming out onto the streets with placards saying, behead these people who abuse the name and image of the Prophet?
Even though we find that repulsive, behead those who insult Islam. At the same time, it's equally repulsive. I mean, that which sparked it off in the first place, it was equally repulsive, if not even more so.
It's really very clear that we have no centre ground on this issue. There are things that Muslims want protected as sacred and unassailable. And on the other hand, this is a secular society in which religious sensitivities are hardly an issue. So either we self-censor or we publish and we create mayhem.
Further conflict may be unavoidable, as Muslims are united in wishing to curb the right to speak freely. But an even greater conflict is already taking place over the way the war on terror is being fought at home. The search for homegrown terrorists following the 7/7 bombings has become a major objective for the police and security services. But at the same time, the majority of the British Muslim population feels under attack.
I have been discriminated in this country because I wear this scarf. Yeah, because I carry this identity, I have been discriminated in this country. And it's not by any ordinary people in the country, it's by police as well. Yeah? Police that are, in control from the government.
And 4 out of 10 of all Muslims surveyed say the police stop and search too many Muslims. The danger is, with Muslims increasingly opposed to the actions of the police, the task of finding terrorists could be seriously undermined. Events such as the flawed raid on a Muslim home in Forest Gate make matters still worse.
This is the first time I've been on a demonstration like this. I really feel strongly about it. That's why I come out. I brought my children along so they learn when something is not right, that they come out and protest.
It's clear that police actions are alienating the Muslim community, but the police need Muslims to be on their side to gather better intelligence. At the moment, Muslims are still on side. 8 out of 10 that we questioned said that someone who knew of a terrorist act and did not report it would be to blame. And half believe as much as the terrorists themselves. But if this number drops, it will become even harder for the police to stop further attacks. Abu Mumin lives in Forest Gate and works at a Muslim youth centre. He was the one who interrupted my conversation with the young man who wouldn't condemn the 7/7 bombings and told him that Muslims should live according to the laws of this country. But he feels strongly that the government is making it increasingly hard for Muslims to help in the fight against terrorism.
And I think Tony Blair, he single-handedly managed to create this unnecessary tension by saying the Muslim community is not cooperating, is not working hard enough. I mean, are we like sitting in our backside doing nothing?
No.
We're working hard, aren't we?
Yeah, of course. No one acknowledges that. Not even the media, community leaders. I don't know.
There's a lot of positive work, isn't it?
But it's not been acknowledged in any ways.
I went to meet Abu at the youth centre after work to ask him about how British anti-terror laws are working on the ground.
Can I just ask what effect the whole Forest Gate raid has had on the community?
The whole community are angry with the police. I think the young, the old. I think it's very important that the young especially begin to see that there is due process. We need to feel that we can trust the police again. because that was a very big blunder. I live in Forest Gate. It's in my backyard. It could have been me, shot by the police. 200 police officers coming in and to arrest 2 people.
But Abu was clear that terrorism does have to be tackled and that the community needs to get behind the police.
There will be many in the community who never had much faith in the police to begin with. Why does it now matter so much if whatever the confidence they did have evaporates?
If there are criminals in our community, then they need to be flushed out. They need to be dealt with. We live in difficult times, and people are living in fear. And what the politicians mustn't do, the police mustn't do, is add fuel to the fire.
Muslims are taking to the streets on everything from freedom of speech to the war on terror. The fear is that if Muslims think no one is listening to them, the point will come where some will feel protesting is no longer enough. But our survey shows that a vast majority of Muslims already say that no one body speaks on their behalf.
I think everyone should speak out. Every Muslim should speak out when they've got something